Alright, hello everybody, this is beau-hindman for massively.com, and this is the Massively TV Twitch TV slash TV.com TV channel, which means that this is Massively TV's Twitch TV channel. Anyway, the date is the 21st of May 2012, and that means it is Rise and Shiny Monday. Rise and Shiny, in case you're not familiar, is a column that I write for Massively. Oh my goodness, look at that commercial. Nice and cheesy car commercial before I start streaming. Is a column I write where every week I find basically a different MMO. I've done it now for 2 years. I just wrote about my my 2-year anniversary a few weeks ago. Basically, and it basically, talked about how many games I've covered over the last 2 years. Essentially, since I cover a new game each week, you can do the math. I've covered roughly, because I have repeated a few games. I've gone and revisited a few games. So I've covered roughly about 100 games. Most of them, I think I counted something like 65%, 64% of them were independent games. Games that were ran, by single digit or a few digits size production team. So I'm very proud of that. I've always been a big supporter of independent games, and I intend on continuing that support, if not increasing that support over the next few days or few years or weeks or whatever, however much I can do it. Before we even get started, there's a few rules you need to follow. If you want to talk to me, if you're in the game and you want to talk to me, I found that a lot of people want to log into the game and talk to me and stuff like that in private message or whatever, or say, hey, I'm on TV, or any of that kind of silly stuff. Just do it in the chat room, Twitch TV. It's a lot easier, and that's at twitch.tv/massivelytv. Much easier for me to kind of compartmentalize, what I'm talking. It's easier for my brain to kind of stay on the topic it can. I can look over the chat room and see the questions and then look back at the game. But if there's anything urgent, or if you want to say hi to me in game or role play with me in game, of course, feel free to. I have also, I'm sorry, more rules. Second rule is if you have any links to anything in the game, make sure they're related to the game that we're talking about or the subject we're talking about. If you don't, and they're linking to something, let's say Journey's unofficial fan site, or a picture of a sloth, I'll probably delete that link. So just keep that in mind. Try to keep everything on topic, but feel free with the questions and everything like that to holler all you want. If the stream drops out or has any problems, just wait a second or refresh your browser, and that usually does it. Twitch TV can have a lot of issues, but lately it's been doing really, really well over the past couple months. I'm very, very excited for it. Plus, I've been streaming a lot of games that aren't real taxing on a system. I mean, a MUD you can stream probably on a toaster if you wanted to. So, and speaking of that, today I am actually streaming a MUD. A multi-user dungeon is what that stands for. Essentially, if you don't know what a MUD is, if you've never experienced one, don't worry about it. I'm 38 years old. I've been playing MMOs for I'm getting ready to be 38 years old, I should say. I've been playing MMOs since '99 for about 13 years. I've played every MMO in the entire book of MMOs, except I've never really messed much with MUDs. So I mean, I've touched on them, I've seen them, I know what they are, I know how they work. I've played games that have MUD-like qualities. In fact, I've written articles about MUD-like quality type of MMOs that are semi-graphical and semi-text based, and I actually really enjoy them. So don't feel bad if you've never even if you're you've been playing MMOs for a while and have never even experienced a MUD. It does happen. Don't feel alone. It happened to me. The cool thing about MUDs is a lot of them have been around for 10 to 20 to 16, 12, all these different, but a lot of them have been around for just a ton of time. Some of them are newer, but generally most of the ones I'm finding so far, I've looked at about 5 to 10. I've lost count, but about 8, somewhere in there. And I've so far done a Rise and Shiny treatment. This is my third one in a row, and I'm enjoying it. Most of them are older games. They've had an established community, established lore, established years of layers of content to build up. Now, having said all that, I'm going to probably treat every single MUD I come across, because every single MUD I've come across so far has a lot of issues. That doesn't mean that they're bad games. I don't want to say that. I mean, if they are bad games, I'll tell you. But that means that typically the problem is in the communication to the new player, or any player, how to interact with the game. Because it sounds like making a text-based game would be relatively easy. How do you have it's easy. You just describe to somebody, like in a D&D game, hey, you walk into a room and there's several orcs, what do you do? But you have to consider that the coding and stuff involved for basically, allowing a player to do all sorts of things. I mean, it actually has to be pretty tight because, for example, right now I'm looking at a female gnome with dark ebony hair. She's from STEA, which is the Newbie Helper organization, who have been friendly. The few times I found those people online, I looked for one earlier and there was none online, but when I have found them online, they've been very, very, very nice. And as you notice right now on the Heritage channel, which is kind of like an out of character channel, there's an event going on at the docks. So I'll probably have to explain the game a little bit, and then maybe I'll jump over there to the docks. I've been making a map. I don't know where actually, I think I do know where the docks are. I think they're west, but I'd have to check. But what was I going to say? In other words, if I wanted to interact with that female gnome, the question is how do I interact with that female gnome? And the problem is there's no real strict standard between MUDs. Whereas an MMO, a graphical MMO, you're able to see your character. You can push the arrow. You can click with your mouse. You can push your mouse button and interact with something on the screen, and it's much more literal. So it's a lot easier for a brand new player to kind of figure it out. Not in every MMO by any means, but you know what I'm saying. So in this case, maybe I'll say hello to whatever. The problem is, for example, if I were to type hello like this, HELLO, with nothing in front of it, it'll say what? Have you noticed that? What? So it doesn't know what that means. Now if I put a single quote before it and then type hello, it'll say hello. So putting the little quote before it means that you're getting ready to say something. Not putting a little single quote before it means that you're going to give it a command. But notice that hello, HELLO, is not a command. But wave, I wave. So I can't explain why hello is not a command when wave is. It's more of a verb versus a word. I don't know exactly how to explain that. But so there are reasons for that. But it's interesting to note. It's very interesting to note that each MUD you really have to to keep an eye on the specific commands, and it can be very, very frustrating. I don't know how a new player, let's say a brand new player to MMOs, and when I say that, people often I think they kind of giggle a little bit. Like, there's no such thing as brand new players to MMO. It's absolutely true that there are millions of people out there who are actually, if anything, there's more of them now because gaming has become so standard. Social and Facebook, social games and Facebook games have made gaming really popular. So if anything, there is a great influx of new players exploring gaming. Maybe they go on Google and they Google for a game and they find something like this. They enter into it and they're like, what in the hell is this? So it's very important. My point with all of the last few Rise and Shinies I've been doing with these different MUDs, this one being, by the way, Threshold RPG, which is another old one. It's fun so far. I enjoy its simplicity. But in a lot of ways, a new player would find this and just have no idea what is going on. So a lot of the MUDs I'm finding don't really, it's like they're creatures who see a newbie and don't really understand what a newbie is. They're kind of perplexed by new players because they have such an established player base, or they expect new players to come in with some kind of knowledge about MUDs, which is absolutely the wrong thing to think. Every new player should be considered a blank slate. As far as MUDs are concerned. Even experienced MUD players have been telling me over the last few weeks, I'm sorry, but I agree. I agree with you completely. As I go from MUD to MUD, it can sometimes be way confusing because there's no standard command. For example, if I'm in the middle of a fight and I don't want a ton of information on the screen during a fight, in Threshold it might be a completely different command I have to type in compared to that brilliant first one I looked at, which was called Gemstone 4. So I mean, it's really really hard to. It takes a long time. I'll explain more in a future article why I think this is a very bad thing, but at the same time, I'll explain some of the benefits of that as you get to learn the system. But honestly, it's kind of like anything, rocket science, artwork, music, learning how to play the guitar or whatever. At first it can be very confusing, and later it makes all the sense in the world to you. But the point I'm trying to make with my first impression pieces, which is what Rise and Shiny is all about, is that the newbie experience is more important than anything. And so that experience has got to be inviting, immersive, fun. It feels nice. If it doesn't do that, you're going to lose new players. Period. So that's that. So howdy, chat room. How you doing, by the way? If you have any questions as I go along about Threshold RP, just holler. Um, One thing I want to point out that's really cool about Threshold RPG is that it is a role-play enforced MMO, and yes, it is an MMO. MUDs are MMOs. They have a persistent world, persistent characters. In fact, they have sometimes even more persistence to them than a standard MMO like Guild Wars or something like that is barely an MMO. You can create items, at least in Gemstone. I'm not as familiar in Threshold, but in Gemstone, for example, you can create items. Your weapons can be crafted just for you. You can have your hand cut off and have to go have it healed, and all these wonderful things like that. In Threshold, the roleplay is actually enforced. That means you cannot talk out of character in regular old chat. They do have some areas where you can talk in OOC or out of character chat. Some different areas. In fact, right now I am in the Hall of Boards. Know where I'm at. The Adventurers Guild. Let me look on my handy dandy map. In fact, I want to show you a picture of the map, what I decided to do. This is a picture of, I just got so sick of not knowing where I was going that I did the old school thing and just laid out a quick map. I just estimated the space sizes as long as I had the same amount of spaces per piece of paper. Taped a bunch of 8.5 by 11 pages together and measured them out, or just threw them together, where I basically had, I think it was like 9 by 7. So what is that, 36 spaces or whatever per, wait, what is 9? 42? Oh my gosh. 63. 62. That is absolutely pathetic. 60-something spaces per page. Let's pretend I know math. How about that? I'm role-playing somebody who knows math. Or doesn't know math. Anyway, as long as it had the same amount of spaces, I was able to fill it out. Now, so what I did is I started off in the, oops, I just clicked off the website, but I started off in this area, the Adventurers Guild. Okay, I started off there, so I put very in the center of the map. I put the Adventurers Guild. This is where if you log out or you die or whatever, you wind up basically in here. So with the map machine, that's kind of the key. I had a wonderful helper, that helped me at the very beginning from STEA, whatever the heck that stands for. That gave me a tour. I typically hate. I shouldn't say hate. I always say hate. That's a bad word. I typically dislike when people are like, "Hey, let me give you a tour around and show you around," just because I'm trying to kind of have a newbie experience, but it's really already pretty hard because people find out I'm writing about it and then they start giving me extra stuff and all that. But I've learned also at the same time they can be a lot of fun. So I took her up on our tour and she was really helpful, just showing me the basics. She did not go too fast. We didn't cover too much. So I learned that the map machine is the center. So I marked it on the center of my map. You can't see it right now because I didn't take a picture of the new map. But basically, let's say like a square right here. I put the Adventurers Guild, and then I'd move to the north or wherever, and then I'd mark that next room. Of course, it's harder as you run into rooms that require up and down and stuff like that. So, it gets a little bit confusing, but the map definitely helps. I know that later, as the older players have informed me time and time again, you won't even need a map later. You'll memorize it. I know that. But as with memory, how memory typically works, if you want to memorize something, the old joke, if you want to memorize a story idea, you keep a notepad by your by your bedside. Just that act alone will help you remember it. Or the memory tricks that memory champions who actually go to memory champion competitions use, where they actually memorize numbers by assigning them to places in their home. They picture their home and they say number 43, that goes on the fireplace. Number 45 goes on that chair. and that act alone helps them memorize stuff. So making that map, and yes, Demon in the chat room, graph paper helps. I was so tempted to go buy some, just for the fact that it would. I used to use it in D&D and some other old games when we were kids. So yeah, I should go buy some graph paper. Another thing I thought would be cool, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, is if Google Documents had a way to make a bunch of squares that would go on as wide as I wanted, and I could fill it out. That'd be kind of fun, but might be way too much. Way too much. What am I trying to say? Effort. That was a lot of effort to say the word effort. But anyway, so what we're going to do, let's quit talking about blah 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 and all that BS. Let's play the game a little bit. As you noticed earlier, they said, I don't know if you noticed earlier, they said there is a fishing competition earlier. So I'm going to take you through a typical gameplay session and let you see how. I'm going to hit a single quote. So there is a fishing tourney going on right now. So I'm going to ask. Now, role play is enforced. Please do not let role play scare you. The word role play. It's absolutely not what you're thinking. It's not thou art the, unless that's what you're playing. But watch as I role play, and I will not talk in any way that seems extraordinarily strange to modern society. It just doesn't. It just avoids modern words. Would you like an escort there, Celerina says. Yes, please. Thank you. So I'm a little bit polite. I like my characters to be a little bit quiet. See, she formed a party. I have no idea what that means. Can I follow her? Will I follow her? Let's see what happens. Follow me. All right. I don't know if all right fits into the south. So I'm going to hit S for south. Now she should show up here. Serena enters. Serena leaves west. I'm going to hit west. Serena leaves west. I'm going to hit west. Leaves west. Now she'll go fast, but I'll be able to see where she's going. Now watch as she appears. West. Hit W for west. She's the STEA person, so watch. West. She's going a little fast. A little fast there. West. West. Oh my goodness, there's all these people here. Ah, excellent. Now, the only problem with a lot of these, when you're in a group like this, it can move really fast. Let's see. Look at fishing rod. Rule. Okay, there's a lot to read here, so I'm gonna have to pause. This is a basic fishing rod. It's a bit 6. Blah, 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 how to learn. Once your rod is repaired, cast your line. So I don't know. Oh, so take fishing rod. Get fishing rod. Okay, I got a fishing rod. So if I go to my inventory, I now have. Oh, I have 2 fishing rods. Oops. Drop fishing rod. Let me drop one. So inventory. Now there are shortcuts and stuff that are a little bit easier, so I don't have to. Okay, so equip fishing rod. That is not armor. So wield. I'm sorry, fishing rod. You equip armor. Okay, so now I have a fishing rod. Let's just wait there and see if somebody explains it to me. Okay, looks at gets a spool. I have a shanty. Let's see here. Any fishing line, if I may? Question mark. So I've changed my colors to be in my how let's see here. Drops a spool of cat fishing line. Get fishing line. Okay. Hold your fishing line like you'd hold a weapon. Okay. Get fish hooks. Okay. You need a bait. I have a seashell. You need to pick the. You can use them where they are sitting. Oh, sorry. Inventory. Let's drop fishing line. Drop fishing line. Drop hooks. See, so you can kind of do like a shortcut. Instead of put still fish hooks, I can just put hooks. Looking at your rod and the various bits of tackle will help a great deal. So look at rod. That explains me. Attach line to rod. I have no idea. Let's see here. Oh, look. Read sign. Tie still hook. Okay. Tie still hook. See, I have no idea. String my rod. String rod. You definitely string your rod with some catgut fishing line. So see what I'm reading here? Now I could put there's probably a way to put the stuff that's addressed to me in a different color. I'm not real sure how. Let's see. In fact, and one more thing, the other thing, let's see here. Attach lure, I guess. There you go. So it's not bad. You carefully attach a copper lure to your fishing line. If anybody that's playing knows, you see this, do you see the sentence that start off with you carefully attach, or you do this, or you do that? Is there a way that I can change the color of that line so that it will stick out for me? If you know that in the chat room or in the game, even if you can send me a tell out of character or whatever, or in Heritage channel, let me know. That'd be awesome. That'd be really, really cool. So far what I'm in, just to kind of to sum up, this is Threshold RPG, the third mud. If you want to see my other muds that I've been, I've done so far, I've done Bat Mud and Gemstone. So I'm going to link that in the chat room. I'm going to link all my articles. If you want to check on that list of articles, you'll see there. Bat Mud it sounds like in Bat Mud that I might be giving it a really hard time, but I'm really, really not. I really actually enjoyed Bat Mud, but I had the most problems with it, with understanding it. It has a lot of issues, but it has a lot of really, really cool parts to it. I like the UI. I like the official. Oops. I actually. Oh, let me read sign. I already looked at sign. Read or look at lure. Small wood box is used for carrying copper fish lures to your favorite angling locale. If you lose a hook, you can give... Okay, whatever. First, hold your rod like you would a weapon. Looking at the rod and tackle will help you get things where they should be. String your rod, tie the hook, then bait your hook and attach the lure. Different fish like different baits, so pick the bait you like. Buy bait. Read sign. What's the cheapest? Oh, I have no money on me. I forgot. It's all in the bank because this game loves to make you log out and have no... everything disappears on you if you log out, by the way, in this game, unless it's in a very particular area. So I'll get to that in the article. And how interesting it is, but how I think it's done wrong. It's done wrong. So we'll see here. Hang on. Hook with some minnows. Inventory. Let me see what I have. I'm completely lost. See how quickly it moves? I might have to skip this fishing competition. It's at least showing you how to interact. But anyway, what I was saying is, Batmud was really great in the way it had a lot of stuff. It has a lot of wonderful race selection. Really, really, really beautiful race selection. Like 20 different races, and everything from a gargoyle to a tree to a duck. You could play a duck, which I'm not normally into silliness like that in an MMO, but I think it's great because they took it seriously. They said, you're playing a duck, so okay, cool. I played a tin man. I'd rather have played a gargoyle. In this game, I think it had something like 10 maybe races. I can't remember. But I used I became a gnome. I'm not normal. I hate gnomes. I don't want anything to do with gnomes, but I think it was the shortest race, and I'm only 5'6" in real life, so I like playing races that are similar to me. Okay, so I'm going to look at this area, by the way, and see what we got. If you type L for look, that'll do it, or you can type out look. Either way, look is probably one of the only constants in MMOs, in MUDs, where it'll help you look around what you're seeing. It's called the Happy Hooker, which is a fishing shop. This shop stocks all sorts of tackle, bait, and other gear a hopeful angler would need to purchase before setting off on a fishing trip. The shop is decorated like a huge old galleon with a huge ship's wheel positioned in the center of the room. It is a quaint and charming place indeed. A sign lists what's for sale. The obvious exit are office and east. What that means is you can either say I want to go east or I want to go to the office. Okay, so let's say I go to the office. You're not allowed in the offices. Oh, I must be locked up. Employees only. Okay, so we'll skip the... This is just too confusing. It's too much. So we'll skip the... Let's go east. Alright, so where am I? Okay. The docks, Gatling. I'm now at the Sabline. It's in Sable, so Sablian times newspaper vendor. A female elf with thoughtful gold-flecked sparkling turquoise eyes. So let's ask elf about newspaper. Okay, I ask her about the newspaper and she does nothing. Buy? What? Buy newspaper? What? Okay, well, forget this place. Let's see here. Let's go west. Oops, that's the wrong area. East. East. Western City Gate. I'm at the way. Okay, well, let's go out in the gate and see what we can find here. Western City Gates. One of the tall, stout gates of Sable City stand mightily before you. Standing here, you notice how tall and thick the city walls are. Surely no invader can penetrate their defenses. Okay. The gate leading west is open, so I'm going to go west some more. So now I'm at the docks of Sable City. The enchanting smell of the salty sea air and the fine mist of tiny waves is alluring. Ships traveling to and from the many continents are seen here. Perhaps adventure lies in one of their destinations. What I'm enjoying by... that's alright. I'll get one later. Thanks. Oh, no need for money. They gave me some money. I have money in the bank, I think. Let's see here. So, where am I at? Well, where did I go? See, when a lot goes on, I'm at the docks. Oh, this is everybody's going to the docks for the thing. What is my? Where can I go to? Let's go. Let's keep going west. Darn it! I went the wrong way. I want to. Let's go south. Let's get away from all these people here. You walk along the wharf. The docks. See, I would like to see, and I'm sure there's a way to kind of. There's kind of a way to do this. You see how it's showing me the next area? I wish there was maybe it's a prompt or something I can indicate in the display. Let's see. Configure. My God. Output. Blah, 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 blah. Who knows? Okay, but I wish that there was some kind of like nice long line between each scene. I mean, I can see the little prompt thing here, but you know what I'm saying? Like it was a little bit, maybe even a little image of a nice scroll, you know, design between each image, and then you've got, all the character interactions. So it could be a little bit confusing. What I probably need to do is change the colors of the text. So let's see if I can do that real quick, because this helps just kind of keep it figured out in your brain here. So I've got black as my white is all the text, so that's obvious. That's really that's all there can be then. We can change the obvious X's to, let's see, like a dark red. There we go. So see how that's a little more, separates it a bit for me. All right, so my goodness, look at everybody. Now let's just keep going west with these people. Dock 3, Sable Shipyard. See how it says Selrina Smiles? I'd like to see a space there separating Dock 3. It would be easier for me to keep it straight. But anyway, the long wooden dock extends into the Regalian Sea. The dock is attached to tall wooden columns that allow the dock to move up and down with the tide. A sign is posted here that describes what types of boats and lands launch at this dock. Okay, let's read sign. Here you can book passage to the Isle of Thrace. This island is about 100 miles west of Sable City in the midst of the Regalian Sea, and it is the home of the Thracian people. Ships travel frequently between the locales, and the fare is 1 denar. I have no idea. He gave me some money. Let's see how much I have. I don't know how I got a star-shaped cookie, but I have no money on me, it looks like. I think score will tell me everything. I'm carrying 10 denar. Cool. So score, if you, I have no idea why I did score is the command, but it is instead of stats or something like that. It tells you all your stats. I have 49,000 experience. What I can do with it, I don't know. I need to go level up with it. I'm 85 years of age. I'm a gnomish stock. Let's see here. I have nothing to eat or drink, and I have 50,000 slags in the bank, whatever a slag is. Board Carrick. All right, let's board the Carrick. Forget it. I have no idea where I'm going. The collective Carrick. No expenses spared on the interior of this impressive ship, so I guess I've gotten on the Carrick. Gold and gems are used to accent the opulent furnishings, luxurious silks, blah blah blah. You note there is a menu next to the well-stocked bar. Read menu. So it's telling you some stuff you can get. You can get some mellow frothy ale, a glass of champagne. I'm not sure what this is in. I guess this is in dinars here. So I don't know if it's going to take off here soon. One thing I wanted to notice also was on the Threshold RPG site, which by the way, I've got to say is one of the ugliest sites I've ever seen in the history of websites. This really, really, really needs to be changed. This looks like it's from 1982, 1963, back before the computer could even do this. That's how old it looks. But you know, hey, it's there. You can actually look at the maps here, but the maps are pretty much useless. I think they give you a general idea where you're at, but in the game, one of the interesting things to notice is if you hit map, I think, read map, I always forget. Now, before anybody says it, I know that if I had a monotype font, that this would read better. It would be more legible. I hate monotype fonts. They're ugly. So it needs to work in a pretty font. Maybe I'd like it. But my idea here is that we already have access to a map. Okay, that's obvious. So it's not like they're hiding the information. It's not like we don't have access to an instant map in the game. We do. It's right here. My problem is if we have access to a map that shows where everything is, why don't they just have a map that kind of looks like this, that is divided into squares, that gives directions, that lists this for each city. I just don't understand why. Is the idea that would hurt the immersiveness of the game? Because the map is right here. Here's the map. I mean, it's not like we don't have it. I mean, there it is right there. So I don't know. I'm just not really sure why we have. I mean, these maps are handy when you're out in the world, I guess. Maybe each one of these squares represents some kind of space or whatever. I like kind of the artwork. It's kind of you know, old school looking, you know, hand drawn in, you know, like Microsoft Paint or whatever. But I just don't understand why we don't have just a regular map. When we type map, can an image not pop up like this? Granted, I'm no programmer, but I know it's possible because I've seen it done. You know, it would just be so much handy. Or even better, a map like this with the squares inside the city that actually moved, or your character actually moved across the map. Again, it's not going to wreck immersion any more than it is already. I mean, there's a map right there. So that's one of my pet peeves. Really, really, really irks me. I don't know why I have to suffer through a map like this built with basic stuff. I mean, if it's for you and you enjoy it, go for it. I'm sure you get used to it. But I would just, I only get a Sable map as a newbie to start myself. Yeah, but I agree. If this is the Sable map, it does me no good. I could read it and I could understand it. Yeah, I could change it to a monospace font to kind of get it to look more normal. Don't get me wrong, if you had a monospace font, this map would look more normal. It would look more spaced evenly and all that. But it's absolutely kind of just a nightmare to read. Why not just have a regular map? Just a point. I'll write about it more in the column. So anyway, we're on the ship. It says the collective carrot glides almost effortlessly over the vast ocean as if you're traveling through air, not water. So it looks like what happened is I have simply boarded a ship. I went to a fishing tourney. I jumped on a ship, and now I'm on a ship that's sailing away. Now, the cool thing about MUDs, and I like how simply Threshold has been so far. I like how it really does keep it just to text, but they could just add a few things that would make it so much easier for a new player. So much easier. And it's not going to destroy anybody. If somebody doesn't want to use the fancy map they don't have. I remember in EverQuest, when I played EverQuest and maps and the Planes of Knowledge and all that came in, people just freaked out, but yet it's made everything a lot better. And now that I remember they freaked out recently with EverQuest free-to-play because they thought somehow the game's ambiance and immersiveness was going to just get destroyed. But my point is that gamers now don't care as much about that stuff. The reason we cared about that kind of hardcore gameplay back then is because it's all we had. It's all we had. So while I am still I've made maps for many games. I actually played a long time Vanguard Saga of Heroes. I had to make my own hand maps. I didn't consult the in-game map. I used the sun and the moon to navigate by, so I'm used to having to learn my way around. But I don't like the fact that I don't think that there's any reason that a MUD, even if it's 20 years old or 16 years old or whatever, cannot do a few things, optional things that would help more modern players understand the game more. That makes sense, because modern players are what they are. They're not going to suddenly become 20-year-old veterans of MMOs. It's just not going to happen. So, but anyway, let's see here. Where am I at here? The collective how do I get off? No, I wanted to jump off. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Jump off. Yay! Did I jump off the ship? Let's see here. I can't tell. Swim. Where am I? Let's see here. I thought here, let me see. Sorry, I was trying to jump off the ship. Yeah, I get to go back to Sable. But anyway, again, I've said this with each MUD that I've been looking at. I'm as tough on any game that some games I'm completely gushing about. There's certain games like Wakfu that I completely gush about because it's done so well. And then there's some games that I absolutely will tear up, but I will never ever not talk about the good of the game, because I believe in most of the games that I play that they are really good games. They just have certain tweaks and and changes that could be made. And of course, I never ever. Surely this trip is okay. Remember the 3 in the book there. Am I there yet? No. But I always note that this is for my particular needs and wants as a gamer. It's my column, so you should take that with a grain of salt. If you don't like what I have to say, then don't worry about changing it. But I just think that it should be changed for sure. I think it'd make it so much easier. I see. I don't know what these people are talking about. Are you citizen of Sable? I am indeed. See, I love the role play though. They're not going crazy on it and being like, "Oh, thou art the," and that stuff that makes it sound like, they're just talking in character without it being obnoxious. And almost everybody as I've met so far, now there could be some real villains in the game, have been very, very friendly, and good at role play too. Very good at role play. So I met a bird character earlier. He had like a bird head, and he had feathers and stuff. I thought that was really neat. So anyway, all right, let's see here. I'm going to wait until I land, and I'm going to go back to... why do I want to go back to Sable? Sable was... Actually, you know what? I will get off on Sable. I will get the command ready, disembark, and then I'm going to see if I can find some combat, because I found some earlier. Maybe the people watching the stream can show me where to go or whatever. I don't know. My map sucks. My map really sucks. I've been working on it. But I need to find some combat and start leveling up. Alright, disembark. Yes, I disembarked. Okay, so where should I go? West or east? The long wooden dock extends into the railing. The dock is attached to a tall wooden columns, okay. West and east. I'm guessing east. You walk along the wood. The docks are jut into the sea to your west. Yeah, see, there's a newbie farm, King Borgia, by the way, and hey, Borgia's will or whatever, but I couldn't, it said it was south of town, so I went out the south gate, and I wound up in some woods where a monster killed me in about 3 hits, which was really cool, don't get me wrong, and then I woke up somewhere. I think I had to pray. Here, yeah, sure. Some farm. I hear there's some, what was I supposed to get at the farm? Skeletons there. I need to bash them. So it's and I had a quest. Why is she going north? Don't go north. She's lying to me. She's gonna kill me in an alleyway. It was south, is what I was told. Oh, please don't tell me to read another help file. Thank you, though. I cannot read another help file. My eyeballs will fall out of my head. The answer for all my questions in the help channel so far has been read blank. I'm like, please no. Oh, 1 and 7. Oh, here we go. Number 2, sorry. Oh, wait, who's the gnome? I gave it... Stupid little boy, go away. I like those little quests though that pop up. I think it's really neat. They like pop up all of a sudden. They'll say, so-and-so approaches you and says, hey, can you help me? And I'm like, oh, cool. And you have to give an answer. I like those a lot. I think those are cool. It's kind of like dynamic. That's something I haven't seen yet in one of the MUDs. Oh, wait, who did I follow? Okay. If you don't see her, if you see the Salrina, she's the one I'm following. Now, in Gemstone, they could actually grab your hand and take you around. West. Type settings divider on. Settings divider on. Room divider description on. There is where you seek. Look. Alright, now I am in a neat path. Well-kept dirt path about 6 feet wide is here. Now, I want people to notice who the non-mudders in the chat room and the people who are watching this later embedded in Rise and Shine column on Sunday and forever after. I have people still reading my Rise and Shine columns for like a year ago and stuff like that. Notice how all of this kind of, I don't know about you, but I love how the action and the movement and it's all in your head and using very little text. So that's why I'm going to write a column about how I think MUDs can still be very, very effective and popular and useful in today's gamer society. If you look at, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but there is a lot of, oh, is this the line right here you're talking about? This divider. See, because that is exactly what I wanted. Thank you very much, King Borgia. Borgia's well! I hope you're good because I'm not going to scream that for anybody. But you know, I really think that if you noticed in app stores and stuff like that, they're starting to sell choose your own adventure books. Those are becoming popular again because people are like, oh, it's like old school. It's like, no, it's because those choose your own adventure books were were fun. They were immersive. I mean, you could probably read let's say there was an adult version of one, let's say written for adults. There might be, I don't know. It's a very effective thing. Turn to page 40 if you want to go this way. It's a very neat thing, and that's what essentially a MUD is. It's a choose-your-own-adventure story written with thousands of other people, hundreds of other people, in a persistent world. So really, really cool. Yeah, thanks, King. That's awesome. All right, let's read this again. To the west, you can see a farmhouse where the word around Sable is that one of the Sable's friendly families live. The farmer and his wife that live there are almost a tourist attraction for Sable City now that they have someone how maintain their quaint lifestyle amidst the hustle and bustle of Sable City's growth. To the east is the Sabling, that's hard to say, surprisingly, southern byway. The dirt path travels west and east. The fence leading west is open. Ah, boy. I wonder where they're going to be. What's your name? Oh, I'm sorry. As in bow and arrow. I always have to explain to everybody how to pronounce it. There we go. Well, she went west. Let's go west. Oh, look what I found. Now, of course, the map is kind of messed up because I'm not using a monospace font. Farmhouse. To the east is Sabling, southern byway. Where should I go? Have you seen any skeletons? Oh, thank you. Oh, a dagger. Oh, thank you. How much do I owe you? Notice that she's giving me items. Now, that's very friendly, but I always try to ask how much do I owe you, just in case. You know, most of the time they say don't worry about it, stuff like that. But it's very nice. Thank you. And now if I want to do a command, I don't hit a single quote. I just hit the command, bow. You bow. Put those on. Okay, so let's see what I have real quick. There might be a quicker way to do this. Razor dagger, so I need to equip razor, or at least you can just put dagger. Oh, wield dagger. Ah, drop. Oh, let's unequip fishing rod. Ready. What does ready do? But I'm wielding a fishing rod. How to unwield a fishing rod? Stow fishing rod. Put fishing rod away. Damn fishing rod. Oh, unwield. That makes sense. Rod. Okay. So ready. So ready will, and correct me if I'm wrong, ready will equip everything that I have. So now I'm wielding a razor dagger, suit armor, boots armor, razor dagger. Let's rock. Okay, that is let's rock is the first that's the first that's the first OOC thing I've seen the game say, really, if you think about it. Okay, now off-wield dagger 2. Off-wield dagger 2. Give me the rod. Okay, so give Selrina rod. Oh, give rod to Selrina. She left. Give rod to Selrina. There you go. So you see, all it is just a series of commands. The problem is, and I'm learning more and more as I go along, is to learn the specific set of commands for each particular game. It's really not hard. I think I'm finding that it's hard for the game to communicate that because there's so many commands. So it's up to the designers to figure out how to communicate that stuff. Yeah, I can't kill a chick. Attack chick. Ah, look at the chick. Oh, the chick bites me with his little beak to no effort. Chick goes peep. So I'm killing the chick with a razor dagger. And I'm surprised it's taking as many turns as it is. And the chick is continuing to peep as I stab it over and over again. So I I killed the chick. Great. That's sad. Poor baby. Bury corpse. Bury chick. Bury chick with hands. I don't have any chick. She already buried it for me. Okay. So look. Slag coins. Take coins. Attack chick. So she... Oh my god, I'm killing chicks. I can't believe this. I can type quickly. I'm pretty good at... I can do it pretty quick. As long as I know the words. Of course, learning the words at first, you know. But I'm relatively fast. I mean, that's what I do for a living. So, but... and you correct me wrong if I'm wrong, chat room. In you know, there's some shortcuts. Bury chick with hands. I did. I buried the chick with my hands. Bury corpse good. No, that's lovely. I buried the tiny body of a chick. I can't believe this helper, Celerina. She's absolutely... Let's look at her. Let's see if she is oozing evil. She's a female known, 3/4 tall, weighing 85 pounds. She's absolutely... Look what it says right here. She is absolutely from the devil and wants you to kill chicks over and over again, as well as kick bunnies and eat puppies. So that's really lovely. No, actually it says Celerina. Now this is what I like too about MUDs. I mean, a lot of games have a profile where you can write in your profile and stuff like that. But the cool thing about a MUD is that actually the descriptive words you're seeing in the profile have been chosen by the player at player creation. So player creation in a MUD is actually a lot of fun. It's exciting because you're picturing your character. And I'm an artist, so one of the first things I said was as soon as I find a character I really, really like, I'm going to draw that character. I've drawn a lot of characters before. I'll find you sometime and I'll show you. But let me see here real quick. Well, I'll find you one sometime. But anyway, I've drawn all sorts of my characters before. But what's really cool about it is, you know, it says, what color's your hair? Is there anything particular about your hair, or this or that or the other? And what's cool about that is you're just doing simple choices. You're just saying, I'm a gnome. I think it asks if you're short or tall, how old you are, etc., stuff like that. And what's cool about that is you're just choosing simple words, but you're completely putting this picture together in your head about what you look like. And when you meet somebody, for example, Serena Wildflower, the master of mushrooms. Now it's good to know in roleplay to ask somebody's name, although I can see her name. That's good roleplay. Also, it enforces, I believe, one of the reasons it's really handy is it also enforces the memorization of who they are to you. So, for example, when you ask, in the way that you ask Serena, for example, how are you? What's your name? What are you known by? Whatever. That kind of enforces the memorizing, not just her name because it's written right there, but you know, like her character, how she answers. Oh, she's that little gnome or whatever. For example, a little gnome was talking to me the other day, and she kept giggling and her bosom kept moving. It sounds really silly, but every time I see that girl now, I know who she is. It described her bosom giggling with her. So chat room says, and people can change their description often depending on the situation with the describe command. Some people keep huge databases of descriptions for various situations. Oh, very cool. I did not know that, so that's a good idea. Her smooth, light brown, slightly curly ebon hairs rests at shoulder length. Her honey-colored eyes light up every time she smiles. When her luscious lips sensually well, my goodness. What is this, True Blood? When her luscious lips sensually curve, deep dimples arise on both sides of her cheeks. Now, see, that sounds cute, huh? Embedded on the top left side of her hair, an amethyst comb rests comfortably. So she's got a comb in her hair. Ouch. I reached for the comb in my hair to hit my headset. She's a female gnome, 3/4 tall, weighing 85 pounds. She has light brown eyes, dark ebony hair, she has rigged scars around her waist. She's in perfect condition. Champion's belt, it shows her all the stuff she has. Slab stay. Oh, sorry. I was, sorry I didn't pay attention to the roleplay. I was, oh, here we go. Introduce casually to Celerina. There you go. She muttered as a prayer, and a few of my wounds are closed. Okay, so let's look around. There's a yellow chick, so attack that chick. After all, I wouldn't want a chick to get away. Maybe we could sacrifice it to the Dark Overlord later. I love how its battle cries are beep, 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 beep. And now it's attacking... This chick is insane. It's attacking Celerina as well. Okay, Celerina, I know it's just a chick, but could you not hold casual conversation while I'm in the middle of an epic battle? Okay, so we got a bury corpse good. There we go. I've also found that muds are populated by people who like writing and have wonderful imagination, says Zeandra from the chat room. I agree. The last mud I played, Bat Mud, fantastic descriptions, amazing, wonderful character creation and character art on the website, but they allowed for get coins. See, I don't know why take doesn't work. They allowed for naming policies like bad names, like curse words and stuff. I thought that was really strange. Sure, but I need to go to town to rest now. I'm telling her I need to go to town to rest now because it's getting near the end of my stream, and if I log out in the middle of here, I'll lose all of my stuff. All of my stuff. Thanks. So I'm going to head back to town. She's going to take me to a place where there are a few places that you can actually log out and not lose your stuff. Now the idea here is that if you log out just anywhere, you're going to, some person is going to come along and take all your stuff or whatever. Now, my argument is once you're inside a really well fortified town, you should be able to log out somewhere besides just like 2 particular areas and not get your stuff taken. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I can log out here in the map machine area, which is I call it the map machine area, but it's the Adventurers Guild. Here is alright, right? Oh, I need to go one more east, okay. But I don't want necessarily people to think, yeah, I know about the army. I've been here, but something happened and they lost my items. Now, what I'm talking about, that they lost my items in this armory, I can put 2 things in there. Somebody told me they had a wipe a few days ago, and it took away my special daggers that were given to me by somebody. So it's like, why are you wiping out people's inventories in their bank? I have no idea why it did that. It made me absolutely frustrated that something as sacred as a bank space was wiped out. And because they told me they do it once in a while, I was just like, wow, whoa, that's just crazy. So I don't really care that much about items. What people are saying is that your stats are typically more important than your things. And that's fine to know, but it's, I still don't like the idea that it's like you stick your items in the bank and the bank loses your stuff. It's like that I would never go to that bank again. So, alright, well anyway, let's see here. So, where can I sleep in? I think the next room I can sleep in near the map machine if I'm not... yeah, the bank wipes everything. people call that hardcore. They call it whatever. I call it bad design. So that's just my opinion. I don't think it's necessary at all. I don't think it increases immersion. Now people are saying later in guilds and stuff like that they have better. Thanks so much once again. I can look you up later? Question mark. I think it does matter later on in the game and stuff like that, but that's one of those things that maybe you could kind of not do that to a new player for the first few hours, so they don't wonder. The problem is not that they're afraid they're losing their gear. It's like, it's just that they're like, what happened? And they're confused. Did I go to the right bank? It just adds on to the confusion, which there's already plenty of it in a mud. But anyway, so that's a little bit of threshold, just a little bit. All right. So here's a couple things before I go. If you want to join it, talking heritage, and then your word, and heritage is made for out of character talk. While you're chatting in normal conversation, in just a general chat, stay in character. If you're not in character, you're a jerk, and people will attack you and kill you and feed you to the chicks. But try talking heritage. If you have any questions, do yourself a favor. Hit tune, T-U-N-E, citizen. As soon as you log in, citizen is like the out of character. They can curse and be jerks and everything in that channel. I have no idea why it pops up all the time automatically when I log in. I don't want it. Give me an option to turn it off. That's ridiculous. But other than that, tune that out. It's going to do no good but make you think that everybody's a jerk or something. But other than that, the game is fantastic so far. I'm enjoying it like I've enjoyed Batmud. I'm enjoying it like I enjoyed Gemstone. But I think it's got a little bit more... It's a little bit easier, I think. It's a little bit more pure, I guess is the word. It's a little bit more pure text, straightforward, a little bit easier to understand, and the helpers, when they are on, they're not always on, but when somebody's willing to help you, they really do help you a lot. I would recommend some graph paper, some basic squares or whatever, and fill those out as you move along. Even if you just log out, or even if you just cover like the 10 squares around you, just for the first hours or day, just learn the 10 squares around you. Take the newbie tutorials, ask in heritage a lot. Don't go out and find adventure and stuff and then move from there, because that's the only way I have discovered with MUDs. The only way I'm going to be able to understand any of them is to take so much time with them. It's kind of ridiculous, but unfortunately my column only runs for about a week to 10 days, about 8 to 15 hours of gameplay. That is the point of the column, so I will report on the newbie experience. I don't care if there's more to see because that's not the rules of the column. And then later I will probably check back up on the game, if not continue to play it. This one I really enjoy. It's a very, very fun, friendly, descriptive game. Am I open to other MUDs? And by the way, you can always ask me any questions. Actually, here, I forgot. Make sure to email me at beau@massively.com. That's my email address with any questions about MUDs, any suggestions, whatever. Also, Twitter is great, at beau_hindman. That's probably one of the best because it's like a conversation I can partake in a lot easier. But am I open to other MUDs? I'm always open to other MUDs, but to be honest, I'm going to take a break from MUDs after doing these 3, because amongst doing these 3 in a row, 3 weeks in a row, I've also got other games piling up that I have to check up on. That's what I do. I report on about 2 or 3 games a week to give you an idea. And then I've got to give my eyeballs a rest. This is just too much, But I will return back to MUDs. I'm going to write one more article here probably over the next month talking about how I think MUDs can stay relevant in today's 3D society, and I really do believe they can. I think they could have this massive kind of comeback, in a way, if you want to call it that, and have a lot of new players appreciate them, because they really do have an effect that no other MMO is going to have on you. So, but anyway, holler back, send me an email, whatever. I will be back on Thursday with RuneScape Thursday. I'm going to be showing off the rune span, which is absolutely beautiful. Friday I'm going to be playing, I forget. So if you don't know, if you want to know what's going on in the MV guide, which is like our TV guide for Massively TV, click on the link that I'm putting in the chat room. You bookmark that. Bookmark that right now. Or I'm going to feed you to the chicks. And then when you bookmark that, it will tell you who's coming up, when, where, and how. In fact, what I'm playing next is... I'm doing Threshold today, Thursday I'm doing RuneScape. Friday I'm doing Command and Conquer Online Tiberium Alliances, which is a great MMORTS I've actually been enjoying a hell of a lot. So see you guys later. Thanks for joining me. Pass on the word. This will be embedded on Massively TV's Twitch TV channel or on my YouTube channel later today, which you can find my YouTube channel under Beau Turkey, B-E-A-U Turkey, all one word, and that file will be there as well if you prefer YouTube. Thank you. Have a good day. I'll see you on Thursday at 5 p.m. EDT, same time. Have a good one.